1,800 acres of Michigan landscape. It is Michigan International Speedway, and we're getting ready for the Gander trucks. 100 laps, and it's a pretty cool racetrack, Mike.
Oh, and you know, you can just write over top of all these stats, all these measurements, speed. We're going to be feeling the need for speed today. You can see 2 miles in length, good banking in the corners, very sweeping racetrack. And when you take a closer look at the track, you're going to see that dark traction compound up top. These drivers will be trying to take advantage of that. They have no idea what to expect. They're going to barrel off into turn one, Jamie, at 180 miles an hour. And who knows what happens next.
Yeah, and we know that traction compound can be kind of slick until it gets rubbered in. Let's take a look here at the race analysis, though, guys. There's 2 short stages, only 20, 20, and 60. Short race, 100 laps, 200 miles. Got a pretty wide window there of 35 to 40 laps on fuel. I think it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do, knowing that they could possibly make it to the end of that second stage on fuel.
Starting lineup by random draw, one of the final times that will be said. Chandler Smith will start from the pole, and the birthday boy, Brett Moffitt, on the front row.
He loves this racetrack. A victory here. He's always fast. You can see Matt Crafton. He's on quite the row. Last year's winner, Austin Hill. That's an action-packed, hot top 10 starting order there.
David Gravel back in row 6, the former World of Outlaw star, current World of Outlaw star, but making his truck's debut tonight.
He's one of the best dirt racers in America, and this is only his second start on asphalt. It's going to be fun to see Gravel tonight.
39 trucks will line up for the green flag.
Corey Roper, a couple of rough starts here lately. Tyler Hill, that's a pretty quick 56 truck. We'll see if he can move toward the front. Another guy that'll be a factor, John Hunter Nemechek, starting well back in the starting lineup.
If you have not heard, it is going to be an interesting way to restart the race tonight, with the choose rule being adopted, not on the initial green flag, but after a caution. Beginning with this race here tonight, there's that the V. When you get to that point, you're going to have to decide, do I want to start on the inside or the outside? And you pick your row. And if the 6 in front of you choose the outside, you can have an opportunity to pick the inside, as Alan Cavan explains.
You'll notice something new on the track this weekend just after the start-finish line. This orange V, it's for the choose rule. You might remember it from the Bristol All-Star race, but now it's for all 3 series going forward. This is where the choose rule happens. Let's show you how the choose rule happens. Before they go back green, each driver will now have a choice of which lane to restart in. Right now, I'm position 6 in line. That means all the drivers in front of me can choose the more advantageous outside line for this restart. So that means I can go to the inside and drive from 6th and start on the front row if I want. Sure, it might be a disadvantage, but look at all the track position I just picked up. It's decisions like these drivers and teams will have to make on every restart from now on. Jamie, Michael, did I choose wisely?
Well, Alan, I don't know how aggressive a guy you are, and I think more importantly, we don't know who's going to line up behind you, because whoever lines up behind you can be a good pusher. That plays just as big a factor as what lane you choose.
I love the idea of this. Short track racers have done it forever. NASCAR drivers have been calling for it. I just don't like the name of it. Choose rule. It's a rule. Choose rule. I don't get it. It's preferred lane lineup. Pick your lane and go with it. Let's call it that.
I always thought it was the choose cone.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was rule.
If we could just find a cone somewhere. How about Zane Smith talking about this option that he's going to have tonight?
Pretty much leaving it up to you on which lane to choose. I mean, I'll get my opinion, but it's up to you. I'll kind of count down what's each lane. I don't think you're going to choose the bottom, or unless you're going to gain a couple lanes by doing it. You know what I mean? Like 10th or more. You're not going to go down unless you're going to gain 2 or 3 lanes.
I like going down there, though, don't you, Jamie? Let's be aggressive. If we can pick up 2 or 3 spots and get to the front row, let's do it.
Yeah, and I think you try it early and see how it works out for you. You know, clearly the outside's the preferred lane, but the thing is, if we get a quick caution, it might benefit you right away.
Got a couple of onboard cameras tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking for big things out of Todd Gilliland. He's carrying a camera for us. These are some great views at Michigan. You can see the driver look right into his eyes, or into the side of his eyes, and see what he looks like as he's maneuvering around this track at 180 miles an hour. I love our onboards. Thanks to Todd Gilliland for carrying this one.
Here we got Tyler Ankrum, number 26. He, you know, Michael, I love looking at when you can see the eyes of the drivers. I also like the fact that I see him having white gloves on, because when we get that outside view looking in, you can tell like how hard they're working inside those trucks. So that's a really good perspective.
You got that right. Those gloves will be busy here today.
I don't know if any of us have ever actually made the proper pick, but we like to have fun by picking a potential winner anyway. Who you got tonight, Mike?
I like picking an underdog. I'm like my brother Darryl. I want some odds, and I bet you Todd Gilliland's got some decent odds for him. Jamie said earlier he's starting back in the 19th position, but he's had some strong runs lately. Finishes don't necessarily show it, but I'm looking for Todd Gilliland to win this race today.
Well, I'm going to go with Michael's bro crush. I'm going with Brett Moffitt right here. He starts on the front row. It's his birthday, 28th birthday today. We've had 2 guys win on their birthday before, and I think Brett Moffitt is going to make it number 3.
Well, the average starting position of the Michigan winners, 7.6, and the man starting 8th tonight is Sheldon Creed, and he won the ARCA race here a couple of years ago, finished runner-up in this race last night. I think maybe tonight is Creed's night. How about you, Alan?
Well, if you're going to leave him out there, I'm going to take Austin Hill. He's got a massive points lead this season, multiple wins already, and he won this race last year. Austin Hill goes back-to-back, guys.
Yeah, the old going back-to-back, why not? Wouldn't argue against it, and his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, has won this race 3 of the last 4 years, so hard to bet against the 16 tonight. How about the playoff standings as we enter race 11? 16 races in the regular season, and right now Enfinger, Creed, Hill, and Crafton have all secured spots, while Todd Gilliland sits there on the bubble, 22 points to the good. Sauter and Friesen, are they in must-win situations?
I think 100%.
Yeah,
it's getting to be that time of the year. But how about some of those drivers up there inside the top 10, Vince, that are just looking over their shoulder, knowing one race, if they have a DNF, they could be outside of the playoff cut line. That is not what these drivers are looking for. This is all about winning today. Win and you're in, and that's what they want to do.
And if you saw Sauter and you say, wait a minute, I thought he was only 53 below the cut line, he received a 10-point penalty as they had a violation in pre-race tech related to the flange on the bed side panel. By the way, that is section 20.4.17.d.
I feel like that's similar to saying PLO.
Flange, I think they did a Friends episode on that. All right, we're ready to roll. Chandler Smith and Brett Moffitt. That's Smith on the outside, and we're green at Michigan. Oh, the inside lane got a great jump with Moffitt out front.
Michael, I liked seeing Christian Eckes really stay committed to that truck in front of him and pushing all the way down into turn 1, and that has benefited both of those guys. We talk about it. You don't see that every week. You see guys kind of get greedy on that restart, want to make it 3 wide.
This is what I'm interested to watch, Vince. You can see Eckes dive at the bottom, make the move on Chandler Smith there. Who's the first to go up into that traction compound? You can see some of the trucks back in the pack 3 and 4 wide. It looks like it's sticking pretty good. Is that Enfinger that decided to give it a go? And look at the big run he gets off turn 4. He's going to take them 4 wide.
Well, that was a big commitment to commit to that the very first lap and hope that it was going to stick.
Enfinger wasting no time working his way toward the front. And this is a scene we're going to see throughout the course of the night. There is traffic everywhere. Actually, that might have been Rhodes in the 99, not Enfinger, that went on the top side and made his way toward the front.
Yeah, because Enfinger's right there in that 98, and he finds himself in quite a battle. There's Sauter to the bottom. Tyler Ankrum in this orange truck here, he's run up into that traction compound already, making some good ground.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, looking at Johnny Sauter's truck, I know they had to go to the back. He is really loose right now, hanging on to his truck.
At the front of the field, it's still Brett Moffitt. Rhodes has moved into the 2nd spot, so Ben Rhodes showing some good speed, and that's Christian Eckes there in 3rd.
I tell you, Ben Rhodes is committed to that traction compound, and he's making a lot of ground up. If I have a spotter right now, I'm telling my driver, listen, they're making that work. If you want to go up and try it right now. He's committed to it, Michael. Look at that. In both ends of the track, got his right sides in it.
And Matt Crafton's spotter did just that. You can see Matt's already working that high groove. A bit of a block there from Austin Hill in the 16, but Crafton's still giving it a go.
Chandler Smith starting to drop back, started from the front row, and he's back there in 8th and losing ground. What's going on, Alan?
Right now, he's just saying he's a little tight. Remember, this is only his second big track start. We have a caution out there on the racetrack, guys.
And there's a couple getting together. The 14 of Trey Hutchins involved in that. There's Hutchins coming to a stop in the grass. Can he see if he can get that rolling or not?
Looks like not a lot of damage.
Double zero of Josh Reaume involved as well. Early caution at Michigan. Brett Moffitt out front. Trey Smith and Josh Reaume bringing out the yellow. See them back out on track eventually as you see Hutchins' truck being repaired. We were in the middle of a Alan Cavana report when that caution came out. Let him finish up on Chandler Smith. Alan?
Yeah, the young driver learning lessons in real time. He started this race on the pole, already back down to 10th. Actually, the team tells him he got a good restart. He just didn't have any help. So he learned that lesson, that he'll need some help on these restarts. After that, he says he just got too tight. The team says maybe it's an aero issue you're worrying about or learning for the first time. He doesn't think so. So a lot of back and forth. They're trying to teach the young driver what may be going on and more importantly, how to fix it.
And this is just his 6th career start. And remember, they're coming here to the start-finish line, and just beyond the start-finish line is where they have to determine and decide where they are going to line up via the choose rule, or the preferred lane option, as Mike likes it.
Yeah, and you'll pick the top here if you're the first couple of trucks. I'm going to be interested to see which driver decides to take a chance on the bottom. I would go down there. We saw it was fine. Moffitt got the lead from the bottom. There's the lane. There's our first taker, Eckes. Now it should be pretty much split after that.
So you saw Christian Eckes, the first one to decide he was going to go to the bottom, while the others seemed to prefer the top. And
that was kind of fun, wasn't it, Vince? Hey, you go there, I'll go here.
You know, as soon as they do that, oh, that was the wrong way. That's not what I wanted to do.
How about Ben Rhodes' radio communication on choosing?
You guys should pick behind him or pick next to him. The initial start go.
Man, I feel like you got to get with him, man. he's going to be rolling. He's pretty experienced here too, so worst case you come out of there third still and you got a fast truck.
He's sponsored by Pickleball, Vince.
I love pickleball. Have you played pickleball?
I have played pickleball a bit, and on my podcast this past week, I had Chris Myers on. He's a huge pickleball guy.
I honestly thought you ate that when you guys first said it. I had no idea it was a game.
That's a
It's
little
tennis,
It's
mini
kind of like tennis,
badminton.
ping pong, badminton, all
right,
rolled into
there you
one.
go.
There you
Love it.
see U.S. Pickleball. They're encouraging folks to be active, get outside, and play a little bit of pickleball.
Hey, by the way, you've got to make the decision. You
Right.
can't roll. You can't run over that box right in the
You
middle.
got to be
of it.
committed.
You got two choices,
Yeah.
left or right.
That's it. You can't go in the middle.
Yep.
Middle is,
If you run over that box, you go to the back. That's like hitting the cone, and you don't want to hit the cone.
I tell you, racers, sometimes they don't always get it.
I like Ben Rhodes' choice there because he's been so good in the traction compound. I think when they get down to turn one, he'll be committed to getting some clean air on the nose and being a little higher than Brett.
Yeah, he was all about working with Moffitt too. Who knows where Moffitt's going, and that's straight to the point in all likelihood. Eckes will start alongside Moffitt.
Great push there by Ben Rhodes. You nailed it, Jamie. He got a good start. Up to the top goes Sheldon Creed. He's going to take advantage of that bottom lane, so it worked out well for him as well.
Rhodes diving to the bottom, maybe going to challenge Moffitt for that top spot. Doesn't get it done on this attempt.
It's such a commitment too when you try to pass the leader, because if you don't get him cleared, you could go back 8 or 10 positions. We heard Austin Hill talk about the train being that outside lane, and if you get stuck on the bottom, you got to wait till there's a gap to slide back in.
There's my pick for the race, Todd Gilman. He shot the gap there up the middle to the outside. Nice move around John Hunter Nemechek in that 8 truck. Started out back, already inside the top 15 is Nemechek.
There's Matt Crafton, last week's winner at Kansas, in that neon yellow, losing some ground, falling back to the 7th spot.
Well, you see a lot of trucks working the traction compound. They definitely can feel that the grip is there, and they're not even running that little bit of lower line. They're getting their right sides in the traction compound. Those guys, the Cup guys, will be watching that and knowing that they can commit to that early on tomorrow as well.
For the lead, Ben Rhodes challenging Brett Moffitt.
You better hope he can clear him right here.
He's not going to do it. Moffitt's able to stay on that right rear quarter panel, and he's bringing Sheldon Creed with him.
Oh, fit in the hole.
Nice job there by Rhodes. So
Right
hard
into
to
that
do.
gap.
You can't rely on your spotter,
No,
can you, Jamie, a lot of
no,
times for those moves. You just got to make a move and hope for the best.
That's Derek Kraus in the 4th position, and here comes Crafton on the bottom, looking to challenge Christian Eckes as Eckes gets back up in line behind Austin Hill.
You know, it's such an interesting balance here, Michael, because it's almost like a 1.5 mile track and then Daytona kind of combined, where you're drafting down the straightaway and there's a big commitment. Like, look at Matt Crafton, the ground he's making up in the middle of the corner, but he's got to hope he can slide up into that hole, because when they get to the straightaway, it's similar to what we see at a super speedway track, where the draft is so huge down these straightaways.
You know, something I'm enjoying watching, Vince, is Matt Crafton. He's been on quite a row. He got that big win in Kansas, but he's just fast. Everywhere we go, he's got pace, and we didn't see that at the beginning of the year. And you can see working the bottom of the racetrack. Is he going to be able to get up in front of Eckes? He is. This 88 truck looks early on like he's got a race-winning truck.
And right in front of Crafton is the 16 of Austin Hill. They were the 2 winners at Kansas. Hill won the first night, and Crafton came back to win the next day. And now Crafton is going to move past Hill. There's no question Matt Crafton's got some speed early here at Michigan.
You know, the other thing that Matt's got going for him, he and Junior Joyner have so much confidence right now in each other and the trucks they're building. I talked to Junior earlier this week, and he talked about how, you know, there's a balance of building trimmed out trucks versus high downforce trucks. And I think the reason we can see him able to run the bottom and his truck's handling so well is because they've kind of committed to not worrying about trimming their truck out, but it's about putting the most downforce in it. So maybe not as quick on the straightaway, but it handles really good in the corners.
And Crafton's got somewhere to go. He's up to 3rd. You saw him a moment ago passing Austin Hill. That's Hill there in the 16. Alan?
Yeah, Vince, Jamie pointed out all the drivers already up in that upper groove testing it out. Well, the 16 team noticed. It was a surprise to them, but crew chief Scott Cibadelli said, get up there and try it this early while you can. But Austin Hill right now reporting that he's a little tight, still on low air pressures, and the tires going the wrong direction.
Alan, they're also going to have to report back that Matt Crafton can go
I was going to say it. Yes.
He can go anywhere.
Oh.
Wow.
Eckes.
think he's going to get lucky there, guys, and not blow a tire.
Was running inside the top 10, and we were watching there. That truck just got loose, and Jamie, that probably had as much to do with air as it did handling characteristics, right? I mean, the air off other trucks could have just turned him right around.
Yeah, it looks like he might almost got sucked around right there by Austin Hill on the outside.
Was so fortunate that didn't get run into after that half spin. Good look from Todd Gilliland's truck of the aftermath.
But I'm going to tell you, Michael, when you see one of those trucks spinning and going to the bottom, you almost floor it to make sure that you can get by in case they slide back up the racetrack.
Narrow miss there by Grant Enfinger. Eckes has finished second in 2 of the last 3 races, but still seeking that first career win.
You know, Vince, I always try to figure out strategy, look at trends and tendencies, and Jamie said it earlier, we think 35 to 40 on a tank of fuel. That's obviously 2 stages if you chose to try to stretch it, and we haven't seen a lot of fall off in the tires. Really interesting to see what crew chiefs decide to use some strategy here. Eckes' teams, their fate's already been decided. What does Junior Joyner? You can see Matt Crafton's crew chief there. Do they come to pit road now and stay out to the end of the second stage? Remember, Jamie, they've got a win in their pocket.
Yeah, they got a little different strategy than guys that are trying to get. You think about Todd Gilliland, he's got to have those stage points because those could make or break him getting into the playoffs.
I'm gonna bet they stay out.
I was going to say I wouldn't think we'd see anybody give up that track position here.
I've learned in my broadcasting career not to give a comment on my pit strategy because I've gotten it wrong.
That's why you were the driver.
That's right. Yes.
What'd you say about one guy? You said he couldn't come to pit road.
Yeah, the one I called it perfectly for you.
First one that came down. Todd Gilliland.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he?
Gilliland leads a train of trucks down.
He was 11th, so the top 10 all stayed out.
That about the rest pretty much came, Vince. So they've decided to see if they can race back into a position to get a top 10 finish in stage 1 and then stay out for stage 2.
Well, and the one thing that we don't know in that circumstance is his truck might have been really loose or really tight, and they're going to use this early on to make some adjustments here.
Allen on the 38.
Yeah, interesting call. Remember, he is on the bubble line, but if this for Todd Gilliland in 38 there, if it puts him in position to get that track position later, could put him in good position for the win. On the 13, Johnny Sauter, remember, already coming in with that penalty, looking for some strategy here, maybe to get that win way below the bubble line for the 13 guys.
Yeah, if you need to wrench on that truck, work on the balance a little bit, this was a good opportunity to do it. Look at this little World of Outlaws action from a couple of weeks ago at Williams Grove. David Gravel in that 41 taking the win and the 20 grand to win.
What about David Gravel, Vince? He's got about 800 horsepower hooked to him right there, big wing over his head. He's just making his second asphalt start ever. He raced at Daytona in the ARCA Series, and here he is in a truck and top 20, steady and solid so far. So much to learn, so much advice though. Kyle Larson is one of his buddies, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as well, Jeff Gordon. They've all given him a lot of advice and direction, and he's done a nice job so far in this race.
Yeah, driving that 24 truck for a reason. A lot of influence from Jeff Gordon and mentorship. They met at the Chili Bowl a couple of years ago, and Gordon had long been an admirer of Gravel's talents and said, you know what, try to do something in NASCAR. Gravel grew up in Connecticut, lives in Florida now, but had always wanted to drive in NASCAR, and getting his opportunity to do so with his Truck Series debut here tonight.
54 World of Outlaws wins, Vince, and only 28 years of age. That's an amazing career already for David Gravel.
You ever drive a car like that?
No, I couldn't fit.
Radio from the 18 of Eckes.
All right, let's get focused. Start from the back, pick them off one at a time. That's all we can do. Long race. All good. We're like, it's just a wide racetrack, and I don't know where to go. We look like, I don't know, we're just like there's no lanes. And we're just here, we're left, right. We got to figure that out.
You know, it is a wide track, and I'll defend him a little bit because your balance of your truck is going to be a little different in that traction compound than it is going to be in the middle of the track, to where when the track's a little flatter on the bottom. He's got a lot of options there, and he's got to just pick one of those and then try to tell Rudy what he needs for the lane that he's running.
There will be 3 to go when they get the green flag. Brett Moffitt will lead them back to green. It's Moffitt on the outside. With Rhodes on the inside.
Big push from Sheldon Creed. That's what you hope for. Somebody to tie to that back bumper and go.
Rhodes wasted no time jumping to the top, getting in front of teammate Matt Crafton. Sheldon Creed on the bottom. Creed second behind Moffitt. A little further back in the pack, the 4 of Raphael Lassard, the 38 of Gilliland. Oh, and that's Brennan Poole going around in the 30.
Wow, straightened it out too.
That's incredible. 2 wrecks and nobody hit anything.
180 mile an hour, 360, or maybe 720 by the time he was done.
Brennan Poole coming off back-to-back 12th place performances at Kansas, and his best finishes of the season was running 13th, and I think avoided disaster right there.
Certainly did. I think you saw a couple of trucks on pit road, probably thought the best way to miss the wreck was to dive down pit road. Whoa, look at that mess.
Not sure he maybe even glanced the wall or just kept it off there entirely. Boy, a close call for Gilliland.
I mean, not hitting the wall was one thing, but no one hitting him as he was spinning around in all the smoke was amazing.
And the heads-up job by the spotters telling their drivers, go low, go to pit road. 6-8 trucks went down pit road and missed that opportunity to run over the 30.
Poole radio.
I saved it, didn't hit anything. I don't know what happened, it just snapped around.
Jamie, would you call that a save?
Well, I always would say something broke there, and it was traction. It was rear traction that broke.
Schrader would say there was a short between the steering wheel and the seat. That was one of his excuses.
Well, this stage will end under caution. Brett Moffitt will get the stage win, his 3rd of the season. Hey, tomorrow, a couple of top welterweights, Jamal Shango James and Tomas Dulorme, battling for the interim title. Hard-hitting action beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Under caution, and brought us to the end of stage one. And you see Brett Moffitt getting that stage win with Sheldon Creed, last year's runner-up here, finishing runner-up in the first stage.
Big win for Creed at Kentucky.
A little rain aided, but a win just the same.
Looks like they're coming here, Vince.
Yep. You could get to the end of the second stage on fuel with these caution laps, but come get tires and maybe an adjustment or two.
I like it.
Brett Moffitt leading the way with Creed, Rhodes, Crafton, Derek Kraus in there. Watch the work on Ben Rhodes, 99.
That's a fast truck. They've done a nice job so far today, Vince. Alan, what do you got down there?
A lot of people are tight down here, Michael, but different ways of fixing it. The two truck of Sheldon Creed says he's tight in traffic, but says if he could get the lead, it wouldn't be so tight. But they're making a big track bar adjustment. In the middle of your screen, the leader, Brett Moffitt. Again, just a little tight. They're making a left side air pressure adjustment. And on the bottom of your screen, last race's winner, Matt Crafton. He says he's tight as well. Not too bad, though. Just expect a small air pressure adjustment for the 88.
Not totally surprised to hear the balance comments, guys. You come to a track that's this fast. I think being a little snug is kind of on the safe side versus getting out there and being too loose.
Some 2, some 4. Austin Self said, I don't even need tires. Just give me some gas. Brett Moffitt wins stage 1 at Michigan. Back in Michigan, getting you ready for stage 2. Drivers getting ready to choose which lane they want to restart in.
You can see several of them are taking the preferred lane, which is up top, and then some others will take it to the bottom and try to pick up some spots, some track position, Vince. See a late decision there, and I don't think.
Yep, he didn't run over the square. If you run over the square, any part of your truck runs over the square, you have to start at the back.
What if you hit the V?
He said square, Michael, not V.
Stuart Friesen in getting a little more service done. Well, it has been a tough go for Friesen.
It's interesting that the 4 truck opted to go to the front row and not line up second on the outside. He feels like he can get the lead.
He's got a good pusher behind him.
He does.
Johnny Sauter's probably got a bit of an attitude after his truck failed pre-race inspection.
Kind of thought the same thing when this started, that he might be a factor today.
Look at the tire off the 52 of Friesen, Alan. That's a concern.
Yeah, that's that left front showing cords, and we're actually hearing a lot of that up and down pit road. Not so bad. That's about the worst that I've seen down here on this end of pit road, but it's showing some cords on that left front tire. This is what a lot of teams wanted to know. This is the first time they've run this tire combination at this track, so that pit stop is a chance for them to gain some knowledge. And you can see from the Stuart Friesen's truck right there, some issues to deal with and maybe cause them a little tightness for some of these trucks.
The 99 of Ben Rhodes, a near miss on pit road. Watch as he comes out. The white truck of Tyler Hill comes out, and if he didn't realize that Rhodes was there.
Or he didn't care.
Yeah, both of those, I believe.
Well, Chandler Smith did not pit. Others did not pit either, but Smith has not pitted the entire race yet. And he starts on the outside of row 1 and in front, the 51 of Chandler Smith.
That team is showing a lot. Oh, he got pushed sideways by Gilliland. He's going to lose momentum, and around goes Gilliland.
So Gilliland going to the outside, and that puts Rafael Lassard in the 4 truck out front.
Tough break for Chandler Smith. The team put a lot of confidence in the young man. Said, we can put you up front without tires. You can do this. That just shows you what a talent he is. Unfortunately, got pushed sideways.
5 wide going down the backstretch with Matt Crafton on the bottom.
Crafton, Eckes, Nemechek, and now the 23 of Brett Moffitt was coming to get in the mix. And at the front of the pack, it's side by side, Gilliland and Rafael Lassard fighting for the lead, and Lassard's going to edge out in front with a little help.
Jamie, wow, look at that momentum. You can see the truck.
That's crazy to see how fast they could run on the outside.
They got bottled up on the bottom, and Ankrum had a major run. Jamie, I was so happy to hear you say 5 wide. I did NASCAR Race Hub last night on FS1 here, and I said we will definitely say 5 wide at some point this weekend.
There you go.
And you've already knocked it out.
How about Parker Kligerman in the 75, making his presence felt, started 35th in this race. Kligerman slots into the 2nd position. Right-hand side of the screen, the restart, the contact from Gilliland. And watch it from the onboard camera here on Gilliland, getting in the backside of Smith. Almost wrecked his teammate Lassard as the 51 and 4 end up colliding.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong. He was on him, giving him a push, and that's exactly what Christian Eckes wanted him to do. It just got the 51 truck a little bit upset there and shot him down to the bottom.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 8, and there's Austin Hill, the 16, last year's winner.
I'll tell you what, every one of these races that Parker Kligerman is in, he runs well. It doesn't matter if we're at a short track at Bristol or at Talladega. I feel like every time he gets in that truck, he overachieves. It's so cool to see him running that well again.
He's a racer. Johnny Sauter dips down now to the inside and makes the pass on Kligerman for 2nd. Kligerman going to take a look back on the inside, but Sauter's going to hold the spot for now.
Kligerman's had a bit of a tire rub on that 75 truck. Low air pressure will do that. I'd like to see that go away, though. You don't want to rub too long. Look at the big run by John Hunter in that 8 truck to the bottom.
Yeah, he made a really good move in turns 1 and 2. He's not going to be able to clear Parker Kligerman, though, as they exit turn 4. Oh, he is going to get by him right here. I think Parker had to check up just a little bit when John Hunter slid up the hill. They'll have a big run right here, though, from Todd Gilliland giving him a push. He's going to use it to his advantage. That was a good move there. I like that. He kind of suckered Parker Kligerman into going to the bottom, and then he stuck behind him.
Oh, Lassard with a problem. He'd led only 2 laps in his entire career, brief as that may be, but as out front for 4 here in this race before this issue.
Flat tire.
Like he's got a tire down.
Yeah, flat tire looks like to me, Vince, and he's just nursing it, trying to get to the bottom into pit road.
I wonder if that might have been created when he had that contact with Smith on the restart.
Yeah, just think it would have to be, right, guys?
Man, that's painful too, isn't it, Jamie? Just limping back after having a truck that was out front leading this race.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. But look, we know we're going to have at least one more caution, and judging off how wild they've been, I don't think that. I think he'll have plenty of an opportunity to get back on the lead lap. It doesn't look like he has any damage, Michael. Just the tires down.
Look at Tanner Gray in that blue truck, the 15, going to the outside, making it work. And there comes Brett Moffitt slipping in front of Gray. This is some great racing. I knew we would see this in Michigan out of these truckers. They just go for it every lap, and you get to see a lot of intense action.
You see it every year, and I think Jamie made an interesting point earlier. It's part mile and a half, part Daytona, and so we see that draft, and the racers are around one another constantly. It's so hard to get away from each other.
It is, and it was really fun, though, to watch. You know, we started talking about, hey, everybody's running the traction compound, and I think, Michael, you said it, and then all of a sudden we saw Matt Crafton all the way on the bottom as low as he could get, and he drove all the way up to second or third spot. So it's a great track. It seems like it's balanced out. The outside is the preferred groove, but as they get to running, we saw the 88 be able to make the bottom work.
Austin Hill, the 16, last year's winner. The 98 of Infinger right there with him. Out front is Johnny Sauter. Won here back in 2014. Hoping to do it again today. Not such good luck for Lassard. Man, the racing is absolutely crazy here at Michigan this evening. That's the battle for second, the 23 of Moffitt and the 38 of Gilliland.
What about Moffitt? He's showing a lot of power driving through the field here up to second. It'll be interesting to see to me how quick Brett can gain on our leader now that he has him in sight.
How about the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek down in turn 1 with a handful.
Yeah, he's more committed than his truck is right now, guys. He looks really loose right there, kind of hanging on. Hopefully they can adjust to that, the stage break. I'd tell you the thing that's sticking out to me, Michael, is look at the lead that Johnny Sauter has on Brett Moffitt right now. Like you said it, he might be able to run him down, but the 13 truck is strong today.
And remember, it's been a difficult situation already for Sauter. They had the pre-race issue in Tech. Crew Chief Joe Shear Jr. ejected an L1 penalty for the violation related to the flange on the bed side panel. And he'd only led 10 laps coming into this race today as far as his season totals are concerned. Sauter already out front for 8 laps, and Allen, he's out front easily by a couple of seconds.
He is right now, Vincent. Not much on the radio from Johnny Sauter. He just said it was loose. Remember, he was one of those trucks. They stopped early in that stage, at stage 1, as a part of a strategy call. Well, that strategy is about to pay off. If he can just last a few more laps as the leader, he'll get a stage victory and some very valuable stage points.
And if Sauter, I won't put the cart in front of the horse here, but if Sauter should happen to win, as you see our playoff cut line over there on the left-hand side of the screen, coming into this race, he was 63 points below the cut line. If he would happen to finish the job and win tonight, boy, how that would change the dynamic of the playoff standings.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at that, Michael, and I'm like, Todd Gilliland, their strategy, they gave up some stage points in the first stage, but they're going to get quite a few right now if they can hold on to third in this stage. And then you look up and Johnny Sauter's leading, and you're like, well, he's going to need more than some stage points.
Well, there's still a lot of racing to go. You've already said it once, 5 wide. It's just going to get more and more intense as we race toward the checker. This is a great, great run for Johnny Sauter, though. Started off, like you mentioned, Vince, with adversity, trouble getting through inspection, and now he's 2 laps away from picking up 10 points, which are valuable. But more importantly, he knows he has a truck that can win this race, which that's what it's all about for these guys that are outside looking in.
They're going to be looking at the lap times, though, Michael, and they're going to realize that Brett Moffitt isn't going to catch them by the end of this stage, but he has the fastest truck, and it's by about 2/10 a lap. So Johnny Sauter's team's got to work on that, make some adjustments, and hopefully get that just a little bit better if they're going to try to compete with Brett Moffitt today.
Interesting group right here as you look off the back end of the 38 truck of Todd Gilliland, taking a look at Grant Infinger just behind him. Tanner Gray and Sheldon Creed behind Infinger.
Just a year ago, Tanner Gray hadn't made a corner yet, Vince. He just would mat the gas and race his drag car. And man, I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do behind the wheel of the truck. This is worse than not having any experience for me, because he just never has done anything like this. But yet he's been able to kick the bad habits of just matting it and driving a pro stock car in a straight line and learn these corners and learn these trucks.
Yeah, Tanner Gray, former NHRA Pro Stock champion. It's him there in the yellow or the blue 15 as Johnny Sauter takes the green and white checkers, winning stage 2 and the first playoff points of the season for the former series champion. Rich Lush is working as the crew chief for Sauter with the ejection of Joe Shear Jr. earlier today. Johnny Sauter, stage 2 winner at Michigan. Friday night SmackDown, all new every week on Fox. Tonight, see the aftermath of the Fiend's encounter with Alexa Bliss, plus an all-new Firefly Funhouse. Matt Riddle takes on Sheamus, all on SmackDown tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Talking about a good time. Go watch those people wrestle each other. Sheamus was down in Daytona on pit road.
Yep.
He is a monster of a man, and what talent, what agility. Me and Kyle Busch I was the ref.
You were the ref. Yeah, you were the ref.
We took the title from Killings. Snuck up on him, took him down, right there on Fox.
Yeah.
Points earned tonight. Brett Moffitt leading the way. Former series champ, won it all in 2018. A two-time winner here at Michigan.
But no wins this year, Vince.
Nope.
Getting those stage points, they're crucial. Even to a guy like Brett Moffitt, who's in relatively good shape, need those points.
Moffitt's birthday today. Boy, how, I mean, you'll take that win anytime, but a little special celebration if you could get it done today.
A couple other drivers in our series, including Ron Hornaday, have won on their birthday.
Yep.
Can Moffitt make it 3?
Johnny Sauter leading everyone down pit road. There's the 98 of Enfinger pitting from the 4th spot. Enfinger, a two-time winner this season. Chandler Smith making his first pit stop of the race. He's the only one that had not come to pit road. Alan?
Vince, that's Brett Moffitt on top of your screen. He was fast at the end of stage 2. He'll get 4 tires, says he was tight at first, but it got better as the run went along. 38 of Todd Gilliland says he just can't get through the corner as fast as other trucks. Too tight, 4 tires, an adjustment for him. And on the bottom of your screen, expect a longer than usual stop for Johnny Sauter. He's planning for the end of the race if he has to come through traffic. They took that extra time to put a spring rubber in the truck. Johnny Sauter off pit road.
What do you think about that call, Jamie? We know how hard it is to pass, and he's going to be stuck back in traffic, but Johnny Sauter's an experienced veteran. And I know Joe Shear isn't on the box today because he was ejected, as we like to call it, but there's Rich Luscious, and he can do the job. He's a smart racer, and I think that decision was timely and a bit costly, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we saw Brett Moffitt go to the backfield and be able to drive to the front, knowing how good his truck was. So if Johnny's truck's good enough, he'll be able to do that.
Hey, we mentioned a little bit earlier, this is race 11 of the season for the Gander trucks, and the rest of the schedule was announced earlier this week. And next we'll go to the Daytona road course, and then Dover, Gateway, Darlington, and Richmond to round out the regular season. And going to that Daytona road course, Jamie, you got some laps on the road course earlier today, didn't you?
I did. I got to do a little bit of iRacing here. We're going down the backstretch right here. We're going to go through the traditional chicane. And you're going to see that, well, I might have got in there a little hot. Thanks to producer Mark for showing that all the perfect laps I have. The one that I was a little bit off. This is going to be an important corner, though, to get a big run out of, Michael, because it's going to lead to the new chicane. And if you think back to the first year at the Roval, Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson makes that big pass trying to, go for the win on the last lap. This new chicane's pretty tricky, and the braking markers that they have, I think they're a little bit off, and so it's hard to get slowed down. A lot of wheel hop, a lot of first gear corners on this track, and so it's got a big delta of speed from some slow corners to also some really fast. And I got to be honest, if I had an opportunity, I would be down there driving in that. I think it was a lot of fun to do there, and I love that track.
And just think about, Vince, some of the drivers that want that opportunity. They've run the 24 hours of Daytona, and they think they could get in behind the wheel of one of these trucks and be able to win. And you said it, Jamie. I saw you miss that back stretch chicane.
Yeah.
But that there's so much time to be made up in that turn.
Yeah.
That series of turns. I ran the 24 hours of Daytona, and you could make or break your lap in that chicane. So that's a key part of this racetrack. And I love the fact that NASCAR said, we need another one.
Yeah,
because that just is going to double the fun.
Yeah, they put that chicane coming off turn 4, and boy, iRacing had that thing up and ready for everybody to practice on almost immediately. So kudos to them for their efforts, and we'll check in with Alan.
And I'm down here with interim crew chief, fill-in crew chief Rich Luscious for Johnny Sauter. You got the call pretty late this afternoon. What's that like to suddenly get the helm of the crew chief spot?
We have a really good group of guys around us, so it really was no big deal. We just been a little free all race long here. We made a big adjustment right there to try to help him up, get a little tighter, see what we got here.
Yeah, that strategy call really paid off. What do you have for the rest of the race?
Yeah, hopefully it pays off for the end of the race. That's a big where it counts, right?
Yep. Johnny Sauter hoping to make it through traffic with that last adjustment, guys.
Well, and if the truck's not good enough to win, you got to take a big swing at it, because Johnny Sauter has to win if he's going to eventually make the playoffs.
And Rich Lushes has a stopwatch. He has timing and scoring. And Jamie, you said it.
He's got to get the truck a little bit better if he's going to outrun Brett Moffitt.
Brett was on his way, and Brett had the advantage of drafting off of that 13 truck of Sauter, so that helped Brett. But certainly Johnny knows he's got to pick up the pace a bit. But what a great second stage it was for that team.
So on this restart, as we get ready for the third and final stage of this race, Todd Gilliland and Austin Hill will start on the front row. That's Hill on the inside in the 16 truck, last year's winner.
And he was fourth and opted to go to the bottom. Not surprised by that, Michael. He seems to be, and I heard him say that a few weeks ago, kind of a bottom feeder, runs better on the bottom. So not surprised to see him go to the bottom and see if he can beat Todd Gilliland on this restart.
Well, you know, Jamie, those trucks running second on back, they were held up a bit by Gilliland, and that's why Moffitt lost all that ground. So that's a great opportunity.
We'll take a quick break, come back, get the green flag to get the final stage underway at Michigan. Two stages in the books. The final stage from Michigan with Todd Gilliland and Austin Hill on the front row. That's Gilliland on the outside, back racing, with Hill trying to charge to the front. Johnny Sauter behind him, and here comes Gilliland in the 38, bringing the line from the top side.
Still see that smoke trailing from the 75 truck. That's Parker Clearman, really fast on the starts. Aggressive driver, makes up some ground. See if he's made adjustments to his truck where he can stay up front.
Johnny Sauter came out 7th from those pit stops. Chose to take the inside line on the restart, so moved himself all the way up to 4th. And here he is, boom, just like that, within sight of the leader.
That wouldn't have been possible without that choose rule that NASCAR has implemented. These guys can take chances. It makes it a lot of fun for fans to watch and see what their drivers do and how they make it work.
Gilliland being challenged for second by Johnny Sauter. Well, Sauter's back a little further. That's Enfinger right behind Gilliland.
Well, Watch these guys push and shove. So aggressive. They know they've got to get all they can get, and there's contact. Christian Eckes slammed, body slammed by Derek Kraus in the Napa truck.
I can't believe how...
Caution is out.
That's
On the
Crafton.
front straight, the 24 gravel coming to a sliding stop as well.
I think I saw Stuart Friesen.
Friesen involved.
Yes.
Heavy damage to the 52. Crafton was involved in that.
This has just been a disastrous year for Stuart
Well, it's
Friesen.
been tough, hasn't it?
Nothing has gone right at all. Then he goes up north and hops in his dirt car and wins about every time he cranks his motor. So at least he has that for therapy.
There's Crafton, the most recent winner. Victorious at Kansas last time out with some front end damage.
Yeah, it looks like he's the kind of the victim of them checking up and him not seeing it, getting into the back of him.
They could probably tape that up if there wasn't any damage to the radiator, Jamie.
Yeah, hopefully there's no water running out.
Friesen and Eckes, 52 and 18. Keep an eye on it right here. Watch Eckes in the middle of the screen, and just like that.
Yeah, it looked like Stewart maybe thought, Michael, that he was going to be clear to move up, and we know how important it is to get up into that fast lane because of the draft, and it's just not quite clear.
How about it riding along on the truck of Tyler Ankrum?
You can see, like you said, Jamie, truck up into the air. That's a very difficult part of the track for the spotters to look down on too as well. They're just above there and couldn't really clear Stewart. I don't know if he just tried to take advantage of a hole that wasn't there, but you can see Matt Crafton certainly just a victim. A lot of scraping along the ground there for Crafton.
Well, and once Stewart started moving up, you get hooked together, and you can't turn away. The cars are almost locked together, so once that starts, it doesn't take much contact to turn that truck completely sideways into the wall.
Now, are they just cleaning that truck up because it's bent and they want it to look better?
I think they're hoping that that tape's going to stick a little better.
No.
Good look at the 40 of Ryan Truex. Got some right rear damage on that Nice Motorsports truck. The camera work of Jake Blau got it front and center. Hey, coming up after the race, we got baseball here on FS1. Mike Trout celebrating his 29th birthday today. He and the Angels taking on the Rangers. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. How about Trout? They just became dad of a baby boy. They named him Beckham Aaron Trout, B-A-T. Bat. That's what a hitter does.
Well, Mike Trout and Brett Moffitt both celebrating birthdays today.
Boy, I tell you what, Stuart Friesen, he hasn't had much to celebrate lately. Look at that, 51 points to the bubble. He has lost in the last 4 races. And with his early exit tonight, he is now 101 points away from the playoff cut line. That means win to get in if you are Stuart Friesen.
That simplifies Trip Bruce's and that team's strategy, though, Vince.
Yep.
Whatever it takes. You don't care about winning a stage. You don't need any points. You got to position yourself for the end of the race.
Pits are open.
Few takers.
There's Parker Kligerman's had a good run this evening, and Christian Eckes spun early.
I'd like to see Kligerman pull his fenders out. They've been rubbing all night, or all day, excuse me. And then Eckes had a lot of contact on that restart. You wonder if maybe they need to check their fenders as well.
Kligerman going to get some fresh tires, and Eckes and that 18 team, as we mentioned earlier, runner-up in 2 of the last 3 races.
They're working on that body, Vince. You can see over on the left front.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to figure out what's rubbing. Like they don't see any body damage to it. It's almost like maybe the housing's moving a little bit.
Hey, we'll wrap things up here tonight, and then next week we go to the road course at Daytona. And not only is that going to be fun because, A, it's the road course at Daytona, but it's also the beginning of the Triple Truck Challenge. And in fact,
3
the next
unique tracks,
3 races.
1 goal: show up and win. NASCAR, Gander RV, and Outdoors Truck Series drivers will compete for a potential grand prize of $500,000 during this year's Triple Truck Challenge. Here's the breakdown. Drivers are awarded a $50,000 bonus per win at the Daytona Road Course, Dover International Speedway, and Worldwide Technology Raceway. Should a driver win twice, they are awarded a bonus of $50,000, bringing their total to $150,000. If a driver pulls off the ultimate feat and wins all 3 events of the trip, the payout increases and the driver walks away with a total of $500,000. Can anyone conquer the trip? All they have to do is win. Don't miss a minute of the Triple Truck Challenge action. Tune in each week on FS1 to find out who has what it takes to win the trip.
Greg Biffle, Brett Moffitt, Ross Chastain, each winning one of the Triple Truck Challenge races a year ago, Texas, Iowa, and Gateway.
The trip. I like the way the guy said that.
500,000. What would you do with 500,000? What would you buy?
Probably buy me a couple new trucks. Maybe get me another engine,
Yeah,
some
some golf
tires.
clubs.
These
Or
truckers.
some lessons.
No, thanks a lot. That really hurts, and it's so. The reason why it hurts is
It's
so true.
so true.
I'm
So true.
Like,
Early laps of the final stage. The Gander trucks getting after it at Michigan. beautiful evening in Michigan. The Gander trucks. The Xfinity fastest lap belongs to our most recent race winner, Matt Crafton, although Crafton's got a little damage on his 88 machine right now after being unable to avoid the wrecked truck of Stuart Friesen as the drivers are approaching the choose area. Do they choose the upper line or the lower line for this restart? They have to choose just as they cross the start-finish line. Sheldon Creed, the first to go to the bottom. Johnny Sauter there as well.
Johnny Sauter's a gambler. He could have been on the outside there and decided to do the bottom the last 2 in a row, and I think that'll work out for him if he can just get slid up in that line.
You saw Tanner Gray. You just ran right through the middle.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No, you go to the back when that happens. You got to make it. It's tough to choose, though, isn't it?
It is. It's probably a little hard to see, right? I mean, like in their defense, it's new, especially for Tanner Gray. I mean, he has as little experience as anybody.
Let's go to the back. Let's go to the back.
But a great run. You know, he's been up in the top 10 all race long, and now he finds himself having to go to the back.
I bet once you do it once, that you don't do it again for a while. What do you think?
Austin Hill is the leader. Alan?
And he's happy out there in front, of course. Listen to him on the radio. He's trying to keep it hard as he can to keep it.
Pretty good out front, boys. When I was already tight, and then I'd, get behind somebody and get some dirty air on the nose, then it would just really lose the front end bad. Felt like it was like a little bit more than our other trucks as far as, being good. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they got some dirty air, it would just kind of shoot up the racetrack and get tight on me.
And crew chief Scott Zipadelli told him, look, the track is cooling off. It's only going to get a little more grip, so try to keep the lead. Do everything you can on this restart.
Zipadelli knows he's been the winning crew chief 3 of the last 4 years, not only last year with Austin Hill, but 2 years with Brett Moffitt. Moffitt winning in 2018 and 2016.
Think back to that restart just a few ago when Todd Gilliland was pushing Christian Eckes, guys, and how aggressive he was.
Like Hill struggled to get going on the outside, and Sheldon Creed and Johnny Sauter had the advantage on that inside line, and here comes Hill trying to get back in the mix.
Nice start on that outside for Enfinger. He's going to push up to the 3rd truck in that outside lane. Oh, no.
It's 2 restarts in a row that we've seen the bottom actually win, and knowing that that's not the preferred line.
Look at Sauter.
Ooh.
Man, that was a strong
Split the
move.
2 truck.
Sheldon Creed with a wiggle there with Sauter to his outside.
Look at that. Sheldon Creed in that 2 truck just jumps up there and closes the door on Sauter. And that'll give him a big push down the front.
And that's the 51 of Chandler Smith, and he's going to go around after contact. That wasn't the first time they had gotten together, and Smith gathers it up and keeps it pointed in the proper direction. He'll bring it to pit road, as Ben Rhodes had evidently had enough.
I thought he had a flat tire, and then as I looked at that, it looked like it was more that the 99 had him picked up there just past the start-finish line.
His day's over.
Yeah.
That's pretty severe damage there for the 51 truck. 4 straight top 5s to start his truck career, and then a couple of bad finishes here lately.
It's been a tough go for the KBM camp today. Remember, Rafael Lassard from the lead had that flat tire. Christian Eckes had a spin earlier, and then the damage right there to the 51 of Chandler Smith.
There had to be something prior to that we haven't seen yet, though, right, guys?
Oh, I think it's right here. And no, he just tried to get in a hole. It wasn't there. We've seen it earlier on the front straightaway. And then there was more to it then, but the damage was done by that point.
Yeah, and that's a situation where you have to almost clear yourself there. The spotters, that's kind of a head-on perspective for the spotters as the trucks are coming at him. And typically for me, if my spotter, when he said clear, if it wasn't clear, I knew that if he kind of gave me the gentle clear, that he wasn't 100% sure, and you're kind of clearing yourself in that situation.
You saw Danny Stockman, the crew chief of the 51 team, a 4-time winner this season. The 51 has gone to victory lane 3 times with Kyle Busch and once with Brandon Jones, but Chandler Smith is done for the day at Michigan.
So we're probably going to have the guys come in now because we can make it on fuel, guys. And it'll be interesting to see if it's fuel only or 2 tires or what they decide to do. And because of all those different strategies, in this race last year, there was a lot of wrecks on pit road because of everybody being on a different strategy.
Hill, Creed, Sauter, Enfinger. And as Jamie indicated, it is a long line of follow the leader down pit road.
Yeah, and we're going to see a lot of gas onlys too, I believe. You can see that's going on with the 98 of Enfinger.
Allen.
Sheldon Creed says he's just a little tight. They're actually going to take our spring rubber out. 16 in the middle of your screen. Remember, I said he was a little tight if he got back in traffic, trying to get that track position once again. And on the bottom of your screen, Johnny Sauter keeps taking advantage of those choose lines and keeps a 2-tire stop, it looked like, for the 13.
It's a good race off pit road.
Yeah, Greg Enfinger did a really good job. He was pitted all the way at the beginning of pit road, and there was guys trying to get in, trying to get out, just like you see Matt Kraft in there. Just so many different agendas going on right now.
And the dejection in the face of Chandler Smith. Some contact here on pit road as well, as watch Crafton and Derek Kraus.
That's good heads-up communication.
Really good.
By Junior Joyner there. I'm sure he saw what was developing and told Matt Kraft and just said, still, we'll get our stuff done after all the traffic clears. He's still got a lot of damage to that 88 truck.
Under caution at Michigan, the 51 of Chandler Smith, the heaviest damage. Get the race weekend started here at Michigan with the Gander trucks. There's got Xfinity on the road course tomorrow. Cup doubleheader weekend. And of course, you'll catch up on all the action from the weekend this week on Race Hub.
It's another jam-packed week on NASCAR Race Hub. Tomorrow, we'll go one-on-one with this weekend's winning drivers as we break out all the action from the Irish Hills of Michigan. And what would have become of Ernie Irvin's career had he not had his horrific crash in Michigan? You'll find out in another installment of What If Wednesday. Plus, the Hub has you covered as the Cup and Gander Truck Series get geared up and ready for some road course racing in Daytona. NASCAR Race Up, weeknight 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
The What If Wednesdays have been incredible. I've really enjoyed getting to watch those.
Hub's a tremendous news show. Great place to learn all the ins and outs, the news in NASCAR. They broke last night that Eric Jones wouldn't be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing. So great work by all the Fox Sports staff.
They're not going to be unemployed long.
Where do you think he's going, Michael? Give us your expert opinion here.
There's a few cars, obviously. One that comes to mind first is the 48. Could he possibly wind up there? Then there's a lot of talk about what Bubba Wallace is doing.
Yeah.
Is the 43 going to have an open seat? And then, of course, Chip Ganassi Racing with the 42. What will become of that? So there's great opportunities out there. Maybe there's things that haven't materialized that we don't even know about yet.
Right.
So here's the drivers approaching that choose moment. Top line or the bottom.
All right, let's see if we can pull this off, Vince. You got to go over it or under it, or above it or under it.
Yeah. Don't run over the top of it, or you go to the back.
Looking pretty good so far.
This would be the.
Oh, it was close.
This would be the first time. No.
There we go.
Oh,
He didn't care. He's already back there.
Norm probably just wants to be in the back to keep his truck safe.
Norm's proving a point.
He only has one or two of those things. Doesn't want to get it messed up. Look who's up front from the back. John Hunter Nemechek chose that bottom inside front row spot. Going to take a chance to see what he can do with our leader, Johnny Sauter.
I tell you what, the inside line has not been much of a detriment.
It honestly hasn't.
Brett Moffitt, Team Radio.
Hard save when he gets caught up, hard save. Yeah, Brett, just to confirm here, we are right on our number here, so anything you can get us will be much appreciated.
Needs some more gas on his birthday, as a lot of other trucks will be in that same situation, but Brett's a veteran. He'll figure out how to make that happen. See the back of the Napa truck over there, number 19. He's got, looks like some rear end grease on the back of it. Hopefully that truck will hold together for the rest of the run. He's having a great run again. Really talented young racer out of Wisconsin. Was a wrestler too in high school.
And a good one.
Yeah.
Won a couple of state championships.
Now he's going to wrestle trucks around for a while.
Coming to the green. Johnny Sauter on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek on the inside. Final stage at Michigan. Tanner Gray. How about Tanner Gray and Infinger? They're looking at one another for third.
It's 3 restarts in a row that we've seen the bottom line be able to come out and be the leader.
It's all about that push, isn't it, Jamie? You get the right guy behind you and take advantage of a good launch on the restart, and either line seems to work.
Yeah, and you know, Michael, we've talked about this before. It's not about getting the best jump sometimes, because we saw Johnny Sauter actually leap ahead of John Hunter Nemechek, but then John Hunter was able to side draft him, and when they got to the corner, he had the momentum to kind of pull back by Johnny and pull his truck back, and then he's on the bottom, and it was a shorter distance around.
Sauter challenging Nemechek for the lead. Couldn't get it done.
I'm going to tell you something. Ryan Newman's hard to pass. John Hunter Nemechek is not far behind Ryan Newman. He's a really hard truck to pass.
How about that run? Infinger got darting past his teammate Sauter for a second.
Yeah, I think Sauter lost a little bit of momentum being on the bottom of John Hunter right there, and it allowed Grant to get a run on him. And now it's kind of that game of you've got to run and you want to pass the leader, but if you don't clear him, the guy behind you is gonna get by you. Johnny Sauter wants to see these guys get too wide, because Michigan is notorious for the 2-for-1. When you see those two guys get side by side in front of you, it slows them down, and you can make it 3 wide and sometimes clear both of them.
You know who's loving this? That 22 truck back there of Austin Self. Those 3 trucks up front, side by side. He and Derek Krause, along with Brett Moffitt, they're able to draft up and make a run on these leaders. Great run by Self in the 22. Just week in and week out, that team's been performing at a higher level. It's good to see.
And don't forget, they had a great run here a year ago, Mike, finishing 5th.
You know, I think all these short runs we've had, guys, have hurt Brett Moffitt. He was a dominant truck, especially on the long run. But these short runs, he just hasn't been quite as good as he was earlier in the race.
There's Eckes on the bottom, and that 18 truck had a restart violation a couple of restarts ago, and he's trying to make his way back up, now just inside the top 20.
David Gravel in this mess after that big spin. He's just getting laps and learning. That's good, valuable experience from him. Rafael Lassard with a big dive to the bottom, trying to pick off Eckes there.
There's Gravel in the 24. What is most important for Gravel? His very first truck race, no practice, nothing. Had a little test prior to the pre-COVID break at Texas for about a half a day, but this has got to be a huge challenge for him.
It is, but everything he sees is great experience. That big spin he had, when you spin, Jamie, and you survive, you learn from that, and you're able to put some tires on and go race some more. So,
ooh, you see him get loose with that. I think, Michael, probably the biggest learning experience for Gravel is the dirty air. Though you're going to have that in a sprint car, you find, you move around the track, find the moisture. Here, it's all about finding clean air, and he's going to experience his truck go through huge balance shifts just based on how close he is, or how, if they're 2 wide or 3 wide in front of him, not having the air, and trying to explain that, and then also trying to comprehend that inside the truck.
What about that bright yellow truck of Kraft in 14th? He's tore all to pieces, but he's hanging right in there inside the top 15.
Thor Sport running 1-2. Grant Enfinger in the lead, Johnny Sauter second. Remember, Sauter started this race 63 points below the playoff cut line. He is in a must-win situation. Got to win to get in the playoffs, and he looks like he might have a capable truck to get it done tonight, Alan.
Yeah, Vince, and he's trying to track down his teammate and take the lead. Look, that last pit stop for Johnny Sauter was so quick. I told you he took 2 tires, so I just came down to his pit stall. He actually took no tires on that last stop, so he still has a full set available should the team need it. That last stop was fuel only, and he's going for the lead right now.
Taking a look inside the teammate Enfinger. We haven't seen tires be a huge factor here tonight.
I don't see tires being a factor in this, especially if we get a caution. You know, Michael, sometimes at this track, being on those scuffs, your car or your truck it's more predictable. When you put that next set of tires on, you don't know what you're going to have, and stickers are tough at a track like Michigan. And his truck's so good right now, I wouldn't want to do anything to it.
He's just hoping, I think, this thing to run about 28 more laps without a caution flag, and he'll have himself a win and a ticket to the playoffs, because he's definitely the fastest truck on the track right now. Those adjustments that Rich Luscious, his temporary crew chief, and Johnny Sauter decided to make, man, they look like geniuses now, don't they?
Caution is out before Sauter can make the pass. Oh, and it's Austin Wayne Self, who's been having such a solid run.
Yeah, what a great race it had been for Self. Well, I said Johnny Sauter would like to see 28 laps.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's out the window.
Not going to happen.
Self was running back in the 11th spot.
Well, he'd been in the top 5, must have gotten loose and slid up, and got a flat right rear on Derek Krause's truck.
Watch it from the onboard of the 38 of Todd Gilliland, just ahead of you.
Wow. Did you hear? Great job by Gilliland firing that thing up, huh, Jamie?
Yeah, and as I watched that, I mean, do you think that the Krause was leaking a little bit of oil? It looked like both of them were kind of slipping and sliding around, and then Austin wasn't able to catch his.
Well, and then
we saw that, black on the back of that truck, and it almost looked like he was directly behind him, and they were both skating around really bad.
But I think Krause had a flat. I think when that 19 truck came to pit road, he had a flat tire.
What happened? I went middle and had a truck in front of me. I mean, I was starting to get a little bit free, under landing and just driving hard,
No excuses, right? At least he was honest with everybody there.
Yeah. See, after tire change, Krause is back out. There's the oil on the back of that 19 truck you were speaking of, Jamie. A lot of times the other competitors will complain loudly if you're leaking any fluid onto their windshield.
Especially if you're faster than they are. Yeah.
35 trucks on the lead lap here at Michigan. That's impressive. 39 starters tonight.
Well, we're getting plenty of practice on these restarts with the choose lane. Choose rule.
I wish you'd decide what it's going to be called so we could all move forward.
Preferred lane option.
I like preferred lane option. It's obviously a rule. Why do you got to say it?
The repairs going on the 22 truck of Austin Wayne Self. Grant Enfinger, he was trying to hold off Johnny Sauter just before that caution came out. A two-time winner already this season. Can he make it 3? Less than 30 left. Thank you, Chris, and everybody deciding which lane they're going to restart in. Is it going to be the top or the bottom, or just run right over the top of the box there and go to the back?
And there's 35 trucks in the lead lap. You don't want that penalty, Vince.
No.
This late in the going, you'll never overcome it. I think that was Ryan Truex running in the top 10.
It was.
Then he clipped that box. NASCAR will.
Well, it's been fun and fun tonight, and next week the road course at Daytona. That'll be a different kind of fun, won't it?
It's going to be crazy. I'm so happy that NASCAR has figured out ways for us to go racing and a way for us to watch trucks on this beautiful road course down in the World Center of Racing.
Jamie spent some time on the iRacing simulator working on the Daytona road course earlier today. And here's the 40 of Truex.
I don't know. It kind of got the black of the box. Does that count, Michael, you think?
Well, according to NASCAR, it doesn't count because
got him up there.
Still got his position so
I like
far.
that.
We have another question we can ask about the preferred lane lineup.
PLO. Plo.
What constitutes running over it? The orange or the black?
Getting ready to come to green with Grant Enfinger and John Hunter Nemechek on the front row. Enfinger, the leader, got his teammate Johnny Sauter right behind him.
Talking about pushing. Watch these cats get going now.
Yeah, it's definitely the intensity he's going to pick up as we get going here.
It's go time. Less than 25 to go at Michigan. Austin Hill making it 3 wide.
And I'm telling you, Austin Hill almost went to the lead, guys, and he's liable to go back to 7th or 8th here by the time they get to the start-finish line, knowing how fast that outside lane's going to come.
Nemechek trying to hold strong on the bottom. That's not going to work.
Sheldon Creed with a power move up high. Johnny Sauter looked like maybe got a little tight off forward, lost some momentum.
Austin Hill was able to get in there at about 5th or 6th.
Remember, Enfinger has won twice this season. His teammate Johnny Sauter right behind him in a must-win situation if he wants to be a participant in the playoffs.
You know, it looked like this was going to be settled between Enfinger and Sauter before that caution came out. But the 2 truck was running those guys down just a little bit. They were having to race and slowing their lap times down, but the 2 truck was probably the best truck on the track when that last caution came out. And look at that. He's running a completely different line, Michael, all the way up into the traction compound.
I love looking around. You've got to get that nose into some clean air, even if it means going up places where no one's been. We've seen this race won by a pass up there on the very top of the racetrack. Playing around right now, trying to experiment and understand what's up there is very valuable information.
Yeah, something I saw Sheldon Creed do in turns 3 and 4 that I think is really important is if you want to run the top, you have to enter up there. You can't enter kind of, ooh, that's a great save by Tanner Gray. But you can't enter 3 truck lengths lower and then slide up into that. You got to kind of commit to it on entry, and that's how you build that momentum up on exit.
Sauter continuing to challenge his teammate Enfinger.
Watch this save by Tanner Gray. Talked about limited round track experience. He leaned on every bit of it right there. That thing nearly got away from him.
Yeah. He got up next to the 8 truck and lost all the air on the side of that, but that was a great save as fast as those guys are going in the exit of turn 2, and also not to get into John Hunter.
Jamie, are you surprised at all? These 2 trucks, Enfinger and Sauter, are able to drive a bit away from the rest of the field. That's a great feeling. If you're Sauter, you're probably pretty content to push your teammate for a bit because look at that gap.
It is, and what I'm liking, Michael, is the fact that Johnny's able to run like a half a truck length lower than what Grant is, and that tells me that his truck's got a little more grip, that it's turning a little bit better. And I think if they can keep that going, that he's going to be able to work him by, and he might try to trick him. He might work the bottom and then go to the outside all of a sudden in a corner.
Gander RV and Outdoors, 20 to go. 20 laps left here at Michigan. Enfinger leads his teammate Sauter, and this has been a good track for both. Enfinger has been top 10 all 4 times here. Sauter, a former winner here, won in 2014.
The best part about these guys having that little bit of a lead, Michael, too, is that Johnny Sauter can afford to get side by side with him. If he doesn't make the pass, it's okay. It's not like there's a truck right behind him that they're having to deal with at this point.
And that truck that is in 3rd is Sheldon Creed, and he didn't gain any time on our leaders that last time by. In fact, Grant Enfinger was the fastest truck on the track. I'm going to keep my eye on, look at Austin Hill there in 4th position. He's historically had a really fast truck in the long run. Can he take advantage of this green flag run if we go to the checkered and prove his prowess once the tires get heated up and worn out?
I'd say what I know Tanner Gray's new, but that was a great move to go ahead and push Tyler all the way down the straightaway, and he was able to actually get back up into that line that he wanted to be in front of John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, it's been a great bounce back race for Tyler Ankrum, running up in that 5th position after that doubleheader at Kansas, and he was 33rd and 28th. Allen on the leader, Enfinger.
Yeah, not much on the radio, if anything, from Grant Enfinger. That truck you're looking at, the 98, that's the same truck he used to drive to victory in Atlanta, trying to get his 3rd victory of the season. Just 18 laps to go, guys.
Grant's doing a great job, Michael. He's not running the same line ever, and it's making it hard for Johnny to know like where he can try to set him up at. In turn 1, that last corner, he made a really wide arc, and it looked like he was going to run kind of the top to the middle, and then he turned down across the bottom, and they got some dirty air on Johnny's nose, and it looked like he got tight on exit. So I'm liking watching him. He's kind of going where Johnny is, but he's not doing the same thing twice.
I like how that truck has the ability to go from up in that traction compound down into the middle of the track. That's a power move.
Battle for 3rd there on the right-hand side of your screen. That's Sheldon Creed, who was runner-up here last year, and right behind him is last year's winner, Austin Hill. Sauter closing the gap a little bit more on Enfinger, and is this the spot where he takes the lead?
Well, Grant's going to have to side draft him right here to try to drag him back. It gets flat on the bottom of Michigan, so Johnny's have to be a little bit guarded when he drives in here on the bottom side of him.
Remember, these are teammates.
Oh, he's going to get loose right here.
And Sauter's going to go around.
It's a little bit flatter, you know, on the bottom of the track there, and it's so hard not to get loose.
His winning hopes dashed.
That's a shame.
You know what? You've been saying it the whole time, though, Vince. He had to win to get in, and he knows that, and that was his opportunity, and I think it's great that he let it all hang out.
Heartbreaking for Sauter and his fans because that was his chance, and you could almost sense that a win was coming his way if he could just get past Enfinger, and he had to make that move right at that moment. It was his best chance that we've seen, at least certainly in recent laps, and it ends crashed.
I'm telling you, from a driver's perspective, though, he's going to be frustrated. He's going to put his head on his pillow tonight. He's going to be mad at the situation. But you would be more upset if you laid down and you finished 2nd and you didn't feel like you gave it everything you had. And we see him do that every week. I mean, he's always hanging out. If you look at this right here, that flat part below that bottom seam gets a little loose, and when he slides up and then the 98 sucks him around as he goes around the outside, I mean, it's just hard racing. It's fun to watch.
What's that feeling when you're right at that moment where you realize you're not going to be able to catch it?
Well, it happens way before we see it on TV.
Absolutely.
There's, and I'm talking, we're running nearly football field a second, so a second before we see what's happening, Johnny's like, no, I'm in a bind here.
This is not going to work out.
And I don't really think that Grant Enfinger did anything wrong either. He didn't go way down and suck Johnny around. There was room between them, but Johnny just got loose on the bottom and slid up, and around he went.
Well, and he was already loose, and then when he slid up, Michael, it's like then he doesn't have any air on the side of the truck. I mean, it just kind of compounds his problem.
Allen is there for a closer look at the damage on that 13 truck.
Yeah, and that's what they're just trying to assess right now. A good day, just gone bad for Johnny Sauter. A lot of anger and frustration on the radio, really, from both his crew chief and spotter, Tab Boyd. Not much from Johnny yet on the radio. They're just trying to get the 4 tires on there and see if they can finish this race.
Now, I'm sure there are some that are saying, man, it's his teammate he's racing. Why doesn't his teammate cut him a bigger break? Are you buying in any of that?
Well, no, because I think Johnny's the better truck here. And Grant knows if he lets him go, his race is over, and he's racing for the win as well.
There's a playoff point available at the end of this race, bonus points for the winner, and that means 5 points, and that's huge, Vince, to win a championship.
Yep.
And like I said, when the truck of Sauter started to get loose, there was a half a truck width between them, but up the hill went Johnny Sauter, and there was no saving it at that point.
Look at this list. Drivers that won last season but have yet to win this season. Of course, Ross Chastain not a full-timer in the Gander trucks and not running in this race tonight. And we don't have Greg Biffle on that list. We haven't seen Biffle since he won at Texas last year. But this other group, there's some pretty talented drivers on that list.
Yeah, and I like what Michael said, because Grant did give Johnny room, and when drivers get mad, it's when you drive in on their door on entry. You know you're going to be together on exit. Johnny knew that he was going to be there on exit. He was hoping that he just, could could keep the truck up underneath him, but when Grant had that momentum coming on the outside, I mean, it just pulls you around.
And when you talk about teammates and the fact that, well, you know, Infinger's already won twice. You know, Sauter needs to win to get in, but you've got to remember, Infinger, for his sponsors, for his team, he's not going to just pull over and let Johnny Sauter win this race.
Playoff points. I mean, you can't. No, I don't care if it's your teammate or not. You're racing to win, and that's how those guys should do it.
Yep. Well, we're going to have a restart here, and there's going to be about 10 to go, give or take. And we just understand they just were given the 2 to go sign, so it'll be 11 to go when we take the green, and should be a pretty good battle, although Infinger has shown a little better speed than Sheldon Creed. But remember, Austin Hill is right there, and Hill was last year's winner, and he has shown good speed today as well. And of course, that could all be jumbled up depending on where everyone chooses to line up. So what is the preferred line in your guys' opinion?
In my opinion, it's twofold. If you're first, you pick the top, and that's preferred. But you got to have a good pusher. You got to be confident who's behind you, because if you're on that bottom and you're able to anticipate the start at all, and the guy behind you can give you the push, then it becomes a favorable place to be. But once you're back third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I just feel like you're going to lose more ground on the bottom, Vince. Do you agree, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the going to the bottom, it's all about if you can be the first truck, because that clean air makes such a difference, and you can maybe run wide open around turns 1 and 2, where when you're second or third back on the bottom, that's a tough position to be in. But looking at Grant Infinger, he's going to take the outside, and he's going to either have Sheldon Creed or Austin Hill behind him. Both those trucks are good pushers, so this is a no-brainer call for him to be on the outside, knowing he has those two guys. The big thing too, though, Michael, has been the wheel spin, and the wheel spin isn't necessarily generated from the lead truck. It's when he gets that initial bump, and it picks the truck up a little bit, and they start spinning the tires. And once they start spinning, you think you just are going to back off, but it's hard to back off when you know the race could be on the line.
Preferred lane is indeed the top, as you can see there. Takes 4 or 5 trucks to go to the bottom. Tanner Gray to the bottom. This is kind of fun, y'all.
I tell you, with 10, 11 to go, I like what Tanner Gray did there. I mean, because look, if we get a quick caution, he could be in second, and then maybe you take the outside and be second row back. I like that though. I like him being aggressive.
How about some radio from Sheldon Creed, who will line up second on the outside?
Hey man, we'll just be smart here. It's the last lap deal. I don't think we'll need to be making any bottom moves here. I think we just need to stay on top and wait for that opportunity to open up.
That's crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz.
Derek Nealon, the spotter, will be chiming in as well as they make the decisions racing toward the checker. Tanner Gray, agree 100% with Jamie. He picked up some track position. That's what the choose rule is all about, giving guys an opportunity to do something different.
And I think that John Hunter Nemechek is going to be a great pusher to have behind him. I think the position, as long as Tanner Gray can get going and not have a bunch of wheel spin, I think he's going to be in a good position right here.
Tanner Gray really knows how to take off. He can really start.
He can launch.
He can get a great launch. What about shout out to Ryan Truex up in the top 10? That's a good run for him.
All right.
Moffitt falling back a bit, but there's that beautiful 40 truck.
Ankrum there in the 26, inside the top 10 as well. Rafael Lessard, his best race of the season so far. He's inside the top 10, looking for his first top 10 finish of the season. Coming to the green, there will be 11 to go. Grant Infinger on the outside gets a big shove from Sheldon Creed.
And you can see they're splitting the 15 truck. John Hunter decides to go to the bottom. That's not what Tanner Gray was looking for.
Tell you what, that 75 smokes a lot on these restarts.
That's just low air pressure, I suppose, and rubbing fenders, because it's happened all day long and he's gotten by with it.
Infinger, Creed, and Hill, and a caution is out turn 2, and it's the 83 of Ray Cicerelli.
Man,
well,
let's stack them up and do it again. Where did Tanner Gray fall to?
Yeah, the only mistake that Tanner Gray made right there is that when he saw John Hunter Nemechek coming, they should have told him you need to pull down and block him, because John Hunter Nemechek was getting pushed by the truck behind him, and you could tell he was going to have a lot of momentum. But Tanner was trying to kind of side draft that outside. There's a lot going on right there, and he's going to learn from that. The next time he's in that position, he's going to move down and hopefully block the truck that's on the inside.
Had a lot of late race drama here at Michigan in recent years. 5 of the last 7 races here, the winner didn't take the lead for the final time until 4 laps or less remained.
Look at that.
A shootout is expected.
23 truck, Vince. Moffitt was back in 10th on that restart. Now he's up to 6th. So there you can see him splitting Tanner Gray, like you said, Jamie. Didn't make the block in time on John Hunter.
You know what, though? He was 5th when on the lineup there. He only fell back to 7th. It really didn't cost him that much. And if he could have had a good restart and the caution came out that quick, he might have gained 3 or 4 spots. So I like it. I think it gives us something else to talk about. It gives the driver some other options out there on the track. Because, Michael, some guys, their trucks might feel better on the bottom on a restart. Sometimes your truck feels better on the outside. So it can kind of be a personal decision also, just based on the balance of your truck on a restart.
See the 99 of Ben Rhodes getting the free pass. He had a flat under green a short while ago and fallen a lap down.
You know what's funny, Jamie? Watch this restart again and think of your grand end finger. You want to push. Give me a push. Give me a big push. Give me a big push. Not that big.
Not that much. Yeah, that's exactly
That's
right.
what these drivers are all thinking every start. They've got to have that contact. They got to have that push in order to get going. But if it's not delivered properly, it can put you in the outside wall. We've already seen it happen once.
I don't think Sheldon Creed had much choice about how much he was pushing Grant Enfinger, because he was getting pushed from behind by Austin Hill.
Yeah, they were all 3 lined up. And, you know, we heard Sheldon Creed's crew chief come on, and he's like, listen, it's probably going to be a last lap pass. Let's not pull out a line before we have to. So I would expect him to want to line up again behind Grant Enfinger. But when you look at Austin Hill, maybe he goes to the bottom right here. Maybe he can try to clear those guys. He got the lead from the bottom on a restart earlier. Maybe he can do it again.
Can Scott Zippadelli, the crew chief of that 16 truck, do it again? He's won 3 of the last 4 here at Michigan. What do you say, Alan?
Well, he thinks his driver can, but let me ask him, because your driver, Austin Hill, we know the truck is good enough to get up there and lead. He's got to get that position, though. What's your driver got right now?
You know, I hate to say it, but it's all in his hands at this point. We can't help him out anymore. We've freed it up all day long, and the TRD United Rentals Toyota Tundra has been pretty good, but it's all about track position. If we can get some clean air, I think we'll be good.
There's something about you in this track. You keep winning here. 3 out of the last 4.
Well, hopefully we can make it 4 out of 5, right? Yeah, we want to win for all of our partners, obviously, and I like this place. It's a little bit different with the juice being down, a little bit lower last year, and a different tire, and a lot of other things. But you know, team's done a great job, and hopefully we can execute.
Yeah, the next one is always the best one, guys.
He sure is calm.
Yep.
Well, and the team
Man, my heart's like 150 right now. I'm so excited. He seems so calm.
The team seemed pretty loose too. They're back there hanging out, watching a little TV, and they're hoping for the same result again this year. You can see Austin Hill, 2019 Michigan winner.
Well, and Hill had a great weekend at Kansas in that doubleheader. Of course, won the first of the 2 and then finished 6th the next day. He's the overall regular season points leader, which is big because, remember, the regular season champion gets 15 playoff bonus points. That's like winning 3 races.
Huge. Yeah, it's going to be huge, whoever gets that.
You keep those things like forever, like luggage. You get them and you carry them through all the way through the playoffs. That's
nicknamed the Doughboy because at one time that was his body shape, but he has really worked hard to trim down about almost 30 pounds. And he is fit and trim. He's really worked hard at the TRD facility and getting himself physically prepared to be the best driver he can be.
Jamie, you see that little bit of damage on the left rear fender there. What's your knowledge, experience tell you? How is that adversely affecting the truck, or that's not really a sensitive part of the truck, is it?
No, I mean, clearly on the right side it's probably more effective, but I can tell you that typically you want to have that flared out a little bit. I would say that if the team, if they were to make another pit stop, I don't believe they'd push that in.
That's what I was wondering.
I kind of like it.
I wondered if you thought that was an advantage. Somebody obviously has gotten into him, but sometimes you bend your truck the right way, Vince. I was always really good at bending them the wrong way.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
And I think that's a bit of luck there.
Coming to 1 to go, which means this is where they have to make that choice.
I say Austin Hill takes the bottom. What do you guys think?
He's leaning that way.
Yeah, well, that's why I said that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he's trying to fake out Sheldon Creed. What do you think?
Infinger's
no
stick
doubt.
to the top.
No doubt. I'm not getting in trouble here.
And Hill
John
jumps
Hunter
up to the front, and John Hunter will be the first one to take the bottom line.
brought Tanner Gray with him. Is that Todd Gilwin coming along as well? I think that black truck was that Hutchins in the 14. Maybe clipped it.
So Nemechek will go from 5th to restarting on the front row. I like it. I like it a lot. Yep.
It's fun. We got another thing to do.
Yep. Something else to think about.
And Tanner Gray, with his limited experience, he ran some ARCA races. He's run oval racing, but not much. Super Speedway is very limited. There he sets in a really tough spot, down on the bottom 3rd. And remember, Jamie, roles were reversed last time. He needed that big launch, and John Hunter took him 3 wide. What will he have learned from that, and how will he address this restart?
Yeah, and it seems like what you need to have happen is the 2 trucks on the front row. They don't want the push immediately. They want to like get rolling just a little bit and then have that bump come a little bit later on. But it's hard because if you can get locked together early enough, we've seen it, at Daytona and Talladega, you generate such an amount of speed. But the biggest thing is just who spins their tires the least. And the 98 Grand Infinger has the advantage because John Hunter Nemechek's listening, trying to watch and trying to anticipate when he's going to accelerate. And it's so hard when you're the truck on the inside in second place, not to get excited, and overspin the tires.
That 15 truck of Tanner Gray, he's the only one in the first 3 rows that has not recorded a career victory. Oh, what a big night it would be if he could somehow manage to make his way to the front here in the final 6 laps. Coming to the green, we'll have 6 to go. Let's ride along with Tyler Ankrum. Ankrum pushing his way up on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek hanging tough, fighting with Sheldon Creed now for second, while Infinger has grabbed the lead. 5 laps left in Michigan. Oh, and there's a spinner. It's Tyler Hill in the 56.
You think Grant Infinger's getting stressed out right now? I'm stressed out for him.
I am too.
My goodness.
This is just incredibly
This is so much fun to watch, though. I'm so glad I'm not him because it's so stressful inside of that. He did such a good job. I thought that John Hunter was going to be able to clear him right there, and he was able to beat him down in turns 3 and 4, and now he's got to do it all over again.
Just squeeze play there on the front straightaway. We've seen it all day long. Nobody's going to give up a spot now, no matter what. 56 truck of Hill is pretty fortunate he didn't rip the nose off that thing. He just slides through the grass with minimal damage.
The guy that paints the grass for the Cup race tomorrow, that was a little
extra work
upset.
to do.
Yeah, like, come on, man. You don't have to get every logo.
I feel like that's a lot of cautions, Vince.
10. The 10th caution. In fact, that's
a record?
It is a record.
A new track record.
And we're going overtime for the 4th time.
Now remember
in all likelihood.
Weren't there some folks with that pitting on lap 60 a little bit concerned about their fuel? Now I know we've had a ton of cautions, probably races most of that concern, but overtime will get your attention, especially with what we've seen today. Could be multiple overtimes.
I thought that Nemechek hung with Infinger.
Great restart. Probably the best we've seen the bottom have there and Tanner Gray did a good job pushing him.
But you wouldn't be surprised at all by that, right? John Hunter's a young, aggressive racer. He's going to get everything he can down in there. Probably take more chances than most, and almost made it work.
Well, it's been a fun evening, and it began with Brett Moffitt and Chandler Smith up front. Moffitt celebrating his birthday, and he is still hanging around inside the top 10, but seems to be a long shot at this point as Christian Eckes brought out a caution with the spin early. Hasn't been a good night for the KBM bunch. And Brennan Poole
with his
out
save.
the caution.
Yeah, he saved that.
Saved it.
Saved it from what?
But hitting the wall. But Moffitt took the victory in stage 1. Looked to have the dominant truck really fast all throughout the early stages of the race. And then push came to shove.
Literally.
These guys have really gotten aggressive as the race has carried on.
Johnny Sauter won stage 2, and it looked like maybe Sauter was going to pull off the win tonight and clinch his spot in the playoffs. But first, the 52 of Friesen got a little contact from the 18 of Eckes. That did some damage to our most recent winner, the 88 of Matt Crafton as well, ending his winning hopes.
Chandler Smith trying to get in a hole that wasn't there, and Ben Rhodes didn't appreciate it and sends him for a spin. And then drama up front. Grant Enfinger taking the lead away from John Hunter Nemechek, and around goes Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, Sauter and Enfinger were having quite the battle, and Sauter finally made his move to try to take that lead and couldn't pull it off. And then the most recent caution, the 56 of Tyler Hill, after a little contact with the 04 of Corey Roper.
That recap will almost make you lose your breath, Mona Vince. All the things that we've had go on here today. This is truck racing. That's how we do it. As hard as these guys can go every lap and don't give an inch.
Enfinger's led the most laps tonight, 30. Moffitt has led 20, Sauter 18, Austin Hill 11. What's amazing, though, the number of times that the driver who's led the most laps here has not won at Michigan in the Truck Series, but Enfinger hoping to change that trend tonight as they're coming to the choose area.
Boy, John Hunter Nemechek is licking his lips again. He's got another shot at it right here.
He's always getting somebody that wants to join him down there as well. You can see several trucks.
Tanner Gray bailed on him. He didn't apparently like that last time.
Rafael Lassard will be the one trying to give Nemechek a push.
He's made a great recovery. He had that flat tire in stage 2 and has come back. Get to restart second row right now.
And in the third row, Brett Moffitt lines up. Talked about how fast that truck was earlier.
Well, we will officially be a NASCAR overtime. That means we're going to take the green flag, and if we come back around and take the white, then the next flag, whether it's the caution or the checkered, will end the race. If we haven't gotten back to the white flag yet and we have a caution, we'll re-rack them and do it again, and we'll do it as many times as it takes.
Grant Enfinger's got to have another perfect restart, not spin his tires, and hope that Sheldon Creed can give him a good push. John Hunter Nemechek came close, guys. This is gonna be fun to watch to see if Rafael Lassard can give him the push that he needs to generate enough momentum to get by Grant.
Boy, Grant's really enjoyed the skills of Sheldon Creed and the pushes he's been able to give him. That's kept him right there. Sheldon's done a nice job.
He's also got to do it a lot in the last 10 minutes. So he's got a lot of practice on it. He knows what to expect. He knows how much wheel spin he's going to have to clean his tires up.
Not a lot of experience from Lassard, who will be the pusher for John Hunter Nemechek on that inside line.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, I'm nervous.
I'm ready.
Pace truck is off. NASCAR overtime at Michigan.
You see Enfinger there. He waited for that push. He waited for Sheldon Creed to get on his tailgate.
Say what, John Hunter Nemechek's had a good run, though. Rafael Lassard gave him a good push.
Enfinger and Nemechek have now broken free side by side, and Enfinger closes the door. Lassard on the inside line.
Oh, spinner.
Heavy contact, Brennan Poole in the 44 of Jeb Burton, and the caution is out.
Who was leading?
Well, we hadn't taken the white flag yet, so we'll line them up.
Who was leading when the caution flew? We didn't see. It looked like Enfinger thinks he was. Of course.
Of course he does. That's right.
The caution's out, so we're going to, like you said, Vince, re-rack it, but we had a lead change possibly there.
So there's the damage on Poole. Jeb Burton in that 44 truck took some pretty significant contact as well. Back there toward the right-hand side of the screen. The 0-2 of Fogelman was there initially in regards to the 44. And you see that Infinger is in front at the time. There's the green lights.
I know they go back to the last scoring loop, but at the point the caution came out, it looks like that John Hunter Nemechek was the leader.
But they do go back to the
previous
most recent scoring loop, so the last scoring loop, and we're told that Infinger is the leader.
That was a close one.
I'm telling you, I think I take the front row in this restart. It's only going to be a green-white checkered, and I think that it's worth trying to get on the front row and hope you can get the right push. I wouldn't take the chance of lining up second row outside if I can be on the front row.
But what about the lesson that Infinger had to have just learned, Jamie? He got out in front, he cleared him, but then he went to the bottom of the racetrack on the back straightaway to break the draft.
Right.
And it gave John Hunter momentum.
Yeah, generated enough speed.
So that was a huge move for Nemechek, and it puts him down in Infinger's name.
Hey, baseball coverage is coming up next, so stay tuned right here to FS1. And as we're under caution here, let's check in with Chris Myers and the guys in Los Angeles. Chris? Wow. Yep, thank you, Chris. We appreciate that. And this is overtime number 2 here at Michigan. Grant Infinger in the lead. Sheldon Creed was third, and he's got a battery issue, so he is not going to win this race, as he has the problem. He's going to have to go to pit road.
And equally as important for Grant Infinger, that was his pusher.
Yep.
He was the one that had helped him to propel to the lead on these restarts. And that's exactly what Infinger did on the last one.
Allen on the 98, the leader, Infinger.
Yeah, he hates to see the Chew. Looks like their field is stopping there on the backstretch. But the 98, I just talked to the crew. They told him over the radio, save fuel, save fuel. So I checked with the crew just to see what the real level of concern was. One of the crewmen said they got about 10 more laps left, but right now they're stopped on the track.
So we've got some oil down. Thank you, Alan. We've got some oil down in 3 and 4. That's why they have brought the trucks to a stop on the track as you see Enfinger's crew chief Jeff Hensley. The 2 of Sheldon Creed, we mentioned, had that battery issue because of was running third and had to go to pit road and get that addressed, so he's going to be a lap down on the restart. Alan with the leading crew chief. Alan?
Yeah, and we were wondering just how stressed the driver may be, Grant Enfinger. Let's talk to his crew chief, Jeff Hensley. How are you doing with all these restarts?
It's getting a little nerve-wracking here now. I mean, we're good on fuel. We've got about probably 8 more laps of fuel with all the cautions, but, you know, when all these restarts and stuff, it kind of gets crazy, the pushing and what you have to do to get good restarts. I mean, anything can happen, but...
we just saw the 2 truck lose a battery, one of your pushers. Is that a worry?
Actually, yeah, because I think the 16 truck is better than us. I think he's probably in the best truck by himself, and he's going to be hard to beat like he is every week. But our far paint F-150 has been really good all day long. The guys on pit road, you know, got us the track position we needed. We've made a couple of small adjustments, and you know, we struggled there for 4 or 5 races trying some things, and we kind of got back to basics last week at Kansas, or 2 weeks ago at Kansas. And basically this is a 2018 setup where we had here and run really good then with Grant. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. If nothing else, we've had a really, really good day. Scored some stage points for a change. Hadn't scored any for a month, it seemed like. But you know, we'll see what happens. I think we got a pretty decent truck, and anything can happen on this deal here.
We got a few smiles down here, guys. We'll settle it in overtime.
Well, Jeff Hensley, the crew chief for the leader, Grant Enfinger, and he said he's worried about that man, and that is Austin Hill, the defending race winner here at Michigan. Overtime number 2 for the Gander trucks. All right, thank you, Chris. And we're getting ready for overtime number 2 for the Gander trucks here at Michigan. And the red flag has been lifted, and you see the trucks are rolling. They'll be coming to get one to go, and they'll have to choose which lane they will restart.
Man,
Infinger has been taking the top lane.
That sun can be a factor, man. It's starting to set, whether it's in those drivers' eyes or not. But all we need, Jamie, as crazy as these guys are and as aggressive as they're being, is them not being able to see.
That is not going to help our situation, is it?
Red flag for almost 10 minutes. 9:46 if you're keeping track at home.
Is that what time it is now?
It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it. With the filters and the different the high quality lenses that we have on television, it doesn't look nearly as dark on TV as it is in person.
We're going to go one more lap of caution, it looks like, before we get the one to go. No lights out on the truck, safety truck. Let's look at this pass again. Sometimes, Vince, when you get a great start, you're going to pay for it. Look at the gap and watch John Hunter Nemechek. Grant Infinger in the 98, he's a set and duck. All the momentum is with the 8 truck. He drives right past Infinger. And Jamie, that's got to confuse Grant. He's like,
well, yeah, because he's which lane do I pick, and do I pull down and try to break the draft, or do I stay up there? And like you said, he did such a good job down the backstretch that he had such a lead, it actually hurt him.
And let me ask you this, we talked early about this place being a hybrid between the 1.5 miles in Daytona and Talladega. It'll be smart. It's going to be hard to do, but if you're setting second on the outside, if you lay back a little bit like we see at Daytona and Talladega, drag your feet just enough to get the truck behind you to give that push and have that lead truck drive out to a couple of truck lead, he could be toast.
Yeah, that'd be hard to do, and I always found it hard, like at tracks like that, to lift. You know, I was always like, man, I don't want to lift and then lose the lead because of that. I always just went as hard as I could.
Grant Infinger's been in the lead most, 36 laps.
Then go as hard as you can and block as hard as you can. Is that your combination?
That's exactly right.
You're going to go with that? Man,
so they'll be coming to get one to go here, and we'll have to choose top or bottom.
I don't think you're going to have any doubt where Grant's going.
He has regularly been choosing the top, and it has worked for him every time.
John Hunter to the bottom, like you said, Jamie.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's a great decision for him. Who's he going to have as a pusher there?
It's like maybe Rafael Lessard, is that right?
When he committed to it last time.
Oh,
Christian Eckes. Look, he was a great pusher on that last restart, so I think John Hunter's in a good position here.
I mean, how about Eckes? He was a lap down at one point. Spun earlier in this race. Tanner Gray there in the 15. He's coming off a career best 4th place finish at Kansas, and he's up there in the top 5 again tonight.
A lot of great stories up inside that top 10. Zane Smith was 19th last time I looked there. He is in the 8th position. Ryan Truex was in a crash. He's in the top 10 now. So really, really great efforts. People persevering all day long. There's Ty Majeski in the 45 truck.
Yeah, Lessard up there in the 4.
And he came back from the flat earlier, so good recovery for a lot of guys. They've had a lot of opportunities, though, on these restarts to make up some ground.
Yeah, remember Lessard was leading when he had that flat tire, and this would be a career best finish for Lessard as well. In fact, he doesn't have a top 10 this season yet.
All right, guys, pull your belts tight.
Coming to get the green, and remember, in overtime, you have to get the white, and then the next flag would end the race, whether it's the caution or the checkers. If we get the yellow before we get the white, we rack them up and do it again. Infinger on the outside, Nemechek inside.
16 is locked on really good to Grant Infinger right there.
Oh, and he bails.
Oh, and now Infinger's going around.
No caution yet.
No caution yet.
We've stayed green as Infinger comes to a stop, and Eckes is out front. Christian Eckes.
Tanner Gray in second.
And the 14 of Hutchins is around now, but still green. Eckes coming to get the white.
Look at Zane Smith.
Zane Smith into second.
He's going to have a big push too.
He's going to have a lot of momentum right here.
Tanner Gray is third. The white flag is out. The next flag will end the race. Christian Eckes has never won before. He's been second in 2 of the last 3 races, and right now he is out front. Zane Smith makes the move for the lead. Smith is in front, seeking his first career win.
Yeah, Christian Eckes should not have given Zane Smith the bottom there, but what a move by Zane Smith to clear him.
Eckes making a run at the bottom, not going to be able to pull it off. Smith holding the line. It's the final lap at Michigan, and Zane Smith is going to win for the first time in his truck's career. Zane Smith, winner at Michigan.
Woo. What a drive.
A lot happened in that last lap.
What a drive, what a finish.
That was a great job. Zane Smith used that momentum he had, like you said, Michael, and was able to clear Christian Eckes, who should have given the bottom, but you just don't know until you're in that position a few times.
Vince, he was 19th 5 laps ago, and it's just amazing how he was able to work his way up to the front, restarted 7th, and won the race.
Under the tutelage of veteran crew chief Bono Mannion, he starts 3rd here on this restart, 3rd on the inside line in that white truck.
I don't know where Grant was going there. I mean, there was just clearly trying to block, but they were there. I mean, there's nothing you can do in that position.
Hill gave Infinger a good push and then dove to the middle. Infinger tried to block, and that paved the way for Eckes.
He did, and I like the move that Austin Hill made there. I thought it was perfect. He pushed him out, and he knew he was going to get him 3 wide, and he was putting himself in position to win. I thought that Austin Hill did a great job right there.
Opened the gates for Eckes. Eckes drove through, and Smith was right there behind.
What a great move. What a great drive by that young racer. We've seen it from the beginning when Zane Smith showed up, that he had what it took behind the wheel to get the job done, and this is a great reward for him.
You know, Jamie, you've worked with Bono Mannion, and Bono said that Zane has an old soul. He's like a veteran. He's just 21 years old, rookie in the series, but has a veteran sense about him.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I mean, I got to win Daytona 500, Brickyard 400 with Bono, and you know, we interviewed a lot of these crew chiefs. We saw how calm they were, and Bono has that same demeanor, always very relaxed, never really shows any emotion, but man, he's had an incredible career, and I know that he's really enjoying his time here in the Truck Series. That's so cool for Zane. He's a local guy here, and he's been fast, guys, at so many races. It's cool to see him get his first win. That's one of those things that you never forget.
Originally from Huntington, California, and makes his home in the Charlotte area now. And that is win number 1, and the first of many, we would imagine, because there is no doubt about it. This youngster has a truckload of talent, and how sweet a walk that is to get that checkered flag for the first time.
You know, it's great to see him get the win, because I feel like he's one of the drivers, when we look at that, he's fast every single week, but hasn't been able to seal that deal, but he always has speed.
His previous career best was 3rd at Charlotte, but he is a regular inside the top 10. And now the playoff standings, well, they've taken on a different look. 5 drivers have now clinched their way into the playoffs, and Todd Gilliland finds himself on the bubble, but 29 to the good. Are you feeling comfortable there?
No.
Absolutely not.
Winners come from everywhere in this series. You got to watch out for anybody that's lined up late in the race with a chance to win.
Alan?
Zane Smith just made the surprising, maybe unexpected walk to get that checkered flag. Tell me about that last restart. You were nowhere near the front, and you have the checkered flag. How did it happen?
I know, man. I don't even know where to start. They tried taking another one from me with the flat right rear coming to the green, leading. I cannot thank everyone that's got me to this point. A lot of people don't understand my situation with racing. It's unbelievable. I've made it to this point. Just thank you.
Winning is big. Why is this so emotional right now?
A lot of the sport, as we all know, is money, and I don't come from that. And to make it to this point, and win and be with such an awesome team like GMS Racing is something special. I wish I was here to celebrate it with my parents, my girlfriend. Man, it is tough to take in. That was awesome. Racing with all my best friends, Christian next there at the end. Man, unbelievable day.
Some wins, every win means something. This one means a lot, guys.
So emotional, and if there's ever any doubt of what the opportunity means and the victory means, you saw it right there. Well, our winners this season, it's an impressive list.
It is, and I love seeing that emotion. I cried almost every victory lane because it meant so much to me, and I think it's awesome to see that emotion.
Yeah, you just appreciate how much respect and appreciation he has for the opportunity and how proud he must be for making his parents proud.
Amen. Well, for Jamie McMurray, Michael Waltrip, Alan Cavana, I'm Vince Welch. Going to the Major League Baseball FS1 studios with Chris Myers, Dontrell Willis, and Eric Karros. Have fun tonight, guys.